All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we will be continuing with the Tinker's Construct. Um, in between episodes, I did increase the height of this to, I believe, nine. No, not nine, seven. One, two, three. I increased it to seven. The reason I did that is each layer, like we discussed last episode, each layer can hold 9 ores when you're smelting them. So if I made seven high, so I could do 63 ores. It's not exactly a full stack, but it'll do for now. I did go ahead and mine a little bit. I got some wheat going, also some sugar cane, just for some food for the wheat. I also got set up with the basic, not basic, but the additions that you're going to need for the Tinker's Construct. Um, First thing you're going to need is a stencil table, and to make the stencil table, you will need just any plank, and then also a blank pattern. A blank pattern is just 2 sticks, 2 planks, and that creates 4 of them, so it's not too bad. So you need a stencil table. You also a pattern chest isn't necessary. It's not necessary. It just holds the patterns that you create. So instead of having a chest, it sort of fits in with the theme of the mod itself. So you're also gonna need a part builder, and a part builder is made with another one of the blank patterns, which again, 2 sticks, 2 planks. And also a log. It has to be a log, and it has to be not in the exact place, but the pattern does have to go above the wood log, and then in the previous one, it does have to go above the plank as well. Um, and then the last thing that you need is a tool forge if you want to do the special tools. There is a let me see here, tool forge. To create the forge that I have, you need a tool station, 4 blocks of iron, and then 3 of the seared bricks, the ones that you make your smeltery out of. And the reason I made the tool forge and not the tool station is just a crafting station or a crafting table with a blank pattern above it. That's how you create the tool station. So the tool station allows you to create a pickaxe, a shovel, a hatchet, and the basic what would you call these? The basic weapons and tools. When you do the tool forge, you're able to do all of the enhanced or the better tools. So you're able to do a hammer, an excavator, a cleaver for swords, and a longbow, stuff like that. So this is the better. This is the top tier tool forge. Like I said, you can also just create the tool station just to get started if you just want the basic pick and shovel. But I went with the tool forge. I always start with the tool forge just so I can get right into the hammer and excavator. That's the main reason that and the lumber axe is the main reason I use this mod here. So the hammer, it's a pickaxe, but you can mine a 3x3 at base. You can also increase the height and width, so you could do. I think it's up to 5x5 at one time. For me, it's just too much. It makes your inventory fills up too much unless you have a way to filter out what you mine. So I'd use the hammer. It mines a 3x3 instead of a 1 block at a time. It still does use the durability of 3x3, so it does use 9 durability per 9 blocks you mine, so there's not like an advantage over durability. It's just you can mine 3x3, so when you're down on diamond level, there's a better chance of you finding ores and everything like that. So the excavator is the same thing, just what the shovel would do. So it mines 3x3 for sand, clay, gravel, dirt, things like that. So and then the lumber axe is the same thing. It mines a 3x3 if you're just hitting logs. So if I was to hit my house and try to destroy 1 block, it would do a 3x3. It also, if you hit the bottom wood or above, it'll knock the rest of the tree up down. So if I just mined this bottom one, it would knock the entire tree down instead of going one by one for each log. So that's what the lumber axe does. Um, a lot of the other ones I really don't use too much. I used to create a pickaxe with just using fortune on that and not the hammer, but as of recently, I've been using just the hammer, the excavator, and the lumber axe. Now, for the swords, there's a couple different things that we can use. We can use the broadsword, the long sword, the rapier. I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm not 100%. And then also the cleaver. So the cleaver is used for it's like a dual wield, so it's very heavy. It does a lot of damage, but it swings really slow. So especially since it's the updated swipe where you have to wait for this your little meter to fill back up to swing again. So it's a really slow swinging tool, but it does do a lot of damage. It's also really good for beheading. So if you're looking for wither skeleton skulls, it's really nice. It increases your chances, and you can also add more modifiers to it to increase the chances again. The broadsword and the longsword. The broadsword is just your typical sword. The longsword gives you an ability to lunge, as it says over here. If you right click, you can lunge. The rapier is good against armor, I believe. It sort of goes through the armor and just deals damage to the player. Not 100% on that, but I believe it's better on the armor. And then if you right click, it gives you a back pedal, so you sort of like knock back yourself but without taking damage. So, and then there's a couple other bow and arrows. I never used the short bow or long bow. I don't really use bow and arrows. Not a real fan of them. 'Cause the time I go to, like, the end or anything within Feed the Beast, I always have, the flying ability. So I just fly up and destroy stuffs with the sword, so I don't really get too much into those, but, these are the 4 things that you need. Like I said, you don't necessarily need a pattern chest, but I like to use it just it keeps everything organized really easy, so, and the tool forge is the top tier, so you can do everything here, so I'm gonna walk you through how to make the hammer and the excavator. I believe I have enough iron in there. Yeah, I definitely have enough iron in there. I have over 100. I think you only need 24 per thing. And I'm gonna show you how to craft those. I might not do it the most efficient way, but it's just the way that I know, so we're just gonna go ahead and do that here. Let me put that in there. So what you're gonna need is you are gonna need some I use cobblestone, it's just the easiest. And I know I need some aluminum and copper. I hope I have enough copper. I might have to go mine and get some. I don't know why, but I'm missing something. Oh yeah, some wood. So I can make some blank patterns. You don't really need a lot of the patterns because they sort of need more than that. Because I believe you get, I believe it was 4 per recipe. Yeah, so I got 16. That's way more than enough. So you take the blank patterns, you go to the stencil table, just right click, and if you place a blank pattern in there, over here on the left is all of the individual parts that you can create a stencil for. So if I go back to the tool forge and I click on, say, the hammer, it tells you down here the components that you need. So I need a tough tool rod, a hammerhead, and 2 large plates. So I need 3 blank patterns just for the hammer because I need a large plate, hammerhead, and tough tool rod. So if I go back over to the stencil table, and these aren't really named, they might be in not the with the different UI if you're not using a texture pack, not at 100%, but I know what they look like. So the large plate, it looks like a creeper's face. So I'm gonna need one of those. I'm also going to need a tough binding, not for the hammer specifically, but I believe I do need that. And then I also need the hammerhead, which is here, and then I need the tough tool rod, which is this one. So let me go back over to here, click here. So tough tool rod, got that. The hammerhead, yep, and then the large plate, yep. And then I believe for the excavator, you need the binding. Yeah, tough binding, large plate, excavator head, and tough tool rod. So let me go ahead and make the excavator head. There we go. Okay, so now that you have those patterns, you're going to go ahead and go into the part builder. And the reason I use cobblestone is it's an easy resource to get. So see how it says material cost is 8 for the head pattern. So if you place that here, and then you place your cobblestone in the, I believe it's either one. Yes. So either one, it'll bring it up. So each time you do this process, it uses that amount of material. So it used 8 cobblestone to get me this stone excavator head. So now that I'm done with this, I can place it over in my pattern chest. And again, large plate needs 8. Put it over in the pattern chest. This one only requires 3. And whenever you do like if you were to make just a normal pickaxe, some of them only cost zero 0.5 material. And in that case, they would give you a nugget coming out. So it would give you like a stone nugget. So now that I got the material here, once you get the actual components themselves, you can go ahead and craft. I would need 2 large plates, but you can go ahead and craft right now. You would be able to craft this tool. If I had another stone large plate, you would be able to make a stone hammer. But the durability is not too good, and it's not too great on an iron one either, but it's just something to start with for mining 3 by 3 because I sorta like to get to that first. So what you wanna do is you have to make, let me go into Tinkers here. You have to make a specific material. Let me find it here. Here we go. So you have to make a cast. If you're going to use, let me go in the house and so I don't die here. But you have to use a cast if you're using a metal. Like I said, you can create a stone one just like this right within the tool forge. But if you are using a metal material as iron, copper, anything like that, any of the extra ones other than stone, wood, and everything, you do need a cast. So to get a cast, you have to pour the molten gold or the molten brass or aluminum brass over the component. So that's why I made stone ones because it's really cheap and stone's um, an easy material to receive. So that's the reason I made one of each is so I can just make a cast so I can then use the iron to put into the cast to get the component in iron. So um, so you could either use to get molten gold. It says right there you need 2 ingots. Um, a molten brass is only 1 ingot, but to get molten brass you need. Let me go here. This alloying. You need 2 millibuckets of copper and 1 millibucket of zinc. And zinc, I believe, is just an ore that you can get from railcraft. Railcraft. The You could use the 2 gold, which is 1 ore because you remember it does double, so it's not too bad. But 1 ingot is 144 millibuckets. This is the one I usually go with is aluminum brass because I really don't use aluminum too often. But you would need 3 millibuckets of aluminum and then 1 copper. So what I usually do is I try to go with 1 copper ore which would make 2 copper ingots, and then I put in you need 3, so I would put in 3 aluminum because it's a 3-to-1 ratio, and then that would make aluminum brass, and then you pour that over your component to get the cast. So I'm gonna go ahead and sleep so I can run back out and, put in my aluminum and copper. Usually I mess up this recipe and it never works every single time, so I'm gonna put 1 of those and then 3 of those. See, the aluminum smelts extremely quick. Hopefully, it doesn't melt mix with my iron. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there's a zombie. No, there's not a zombie, or I would have got blood. I thought there was a zombie in there. Nope, he died right here. But we will be using the smeltery a little later in the game. I will be making a wider one, and the reason for that is you can farm villagers in here, and whenever they go into, say, I just had 1 ingot of iron liquid in here. As soon as they go in, they would start taking damage, and then once they die within the smeltery, it generates emeralds. So then you need either you can either take out a block of emerald or you need an emerald to make a cast like we're doing here to be able to take out emeralds. So it's a you can like duplicate over and over again and just you can get like an emerald farm. So I have 8 ingots of the aluminum brass now because like I said, I put in 1 copper, 3 aluminum, so that gives you 8. So I'm able to make 8 casts because it only uses 1 ingot per cast. And since I need the aluminum brass to come out when I hit the faucet on the smeltery, I have to put it on the bottom. So you just click them. So it's pretty straightforward. Whichever one's on the bottom is the one that you're going to use. So if I go ahead and put the hammerhead here, and then I right click on the faucet, it pours only 1 ingot out, and it does absorb the component that you create. So it does burn whatever you have in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. I'm gonna go ahead and just do them all here because I'm definitely gonna need them all. Because the reason I like to do both of these at one time is if you're down mining on just say 12 or 10 or 11, whichever one you prefer down there. I usually do 12 or 11 depending on basically where I stop. The reason I like to do both is if you're mining a 3x3 and you run into dirt, you definitely do not want to pick out a shovel and have to dig 1 block at a time whenever you're trying to mine a 3x3. So it's I recommend doing both at one time 100%. So now that I'm done using the aluminum brass to get the cast, I'm going to go ahead and click on the iron so I can then go ahead and create all these components that I need. So I need 2 large plates, 3 large plates, 2 tough tool rods, 1 binding, 1 excavator head, and then 1 hammer head. These do take a little bit to cool. And then, like I said, the durability on this iron is not the greatest at all. Like if I go to iron hammer here, the iron hammer only has a durability of 582, and you got to think each time you mine, it takes 9 out of that. So you're only looking at mining 60 blocks long, and then you have to repair it. So like I said, it's not the greatest at the beginning, but you can add a diamond to it, and when you add a diamond to it, you can get 500 plus damage, and then I believe if you add an emerald, you also get 50% extra damage as well. So with what was it, 500? So 500, 500, and then you add another 500 with an emerald, you'd be up to like 1500. So you could mine pretty far with just that hammer. So, and you can get fortune, you can increase the speed, everything like that. So we'll be getting into that once this is done. I'm gonna go ahead and create all these. It does take a little bit of time. So once I create these, I'll go ahead and continue with the video. So I'll be right back. All right, and I have completed the hammer, the excavator, and the lumber axe. So, I got all the components. Just put them in the tool forge and the correct pattern that they call for here. You can also rename them. Doesn't cost you anything to rename them whenever you do it. I just keep them as the hammer, excavator, and lumber axe. So, like, if I was to go over with the lumber axe now and hit the bottom of the tree, destroys the whole tree. And as long as you have the durability, it'll mine the entire tree. It shouldn't destroy my house because it's farther away, but there's that. So that's what the lumber axe does. It's very helpful and useful whenever you're trying to just go out and get some wood for building. It can get finicky with like these type of trees here, but usually it's pretty good. I think it's because it's close to my house. I think that's the issue. There we go. I believe if I hit this one, it should take it all. Yeah. So I think it was just because it was close to my house and it sensed wood in the coating. So, yeah. So that's what the lumber axe does. We'll go ahead and go down into my little mine that I started, and I'll show you what the hammer and excavator does. Also, if you want to repair your tools, since mine's made out of iron, all I do is come back to the tool forge. You shift click, or you could place it in here, and then you just add one ingot of iron until the durability goes all the way up. So you can add 1, 2, 3, and then that's how you repair it. So once the durability goes all the way down, the tool doesn't disappear. It doesn't do anything crazy like that. It just shows that it's broken, and whenever you try mining with it or knocking down a tree with it, it won't do anything until you repair it. So, also, if you have fully grown, as you can see in the green above, it says fully grown wheat or any plant itself. If you right click, it'll automatically just plant another seed, um, and you do still get seeds back. I don't know if it's a lower percentage to get seeds back. I just know that if you right click, you don't have to place the seeds again, and it's amazing. So give that little chip while I'm here, up here. Let me clear these. I am playing on a server, so whenever I'm not playing, I do have the server up and running. And the reason I do that is so the plants can grow, as well as the ores, not ores, but the quarries and all that good stuff. Whenever we get to it, those will still generate and everything like that. Whenever we're not playing, so let me go ahead and put all that in there. I don't need this. I do need to go back out because I need a bucket of water. I do not mind if I don't have water. There we go. All right, so let me run down here, show you what this does, and then I'm gonna go mining for a little bit just to grab some ores, and then we can continue. So come on, you can sprint. And I have to finish these stairs because I don't think I finished it. I did not. Hmm. This is always the fun part because this mine's a 3x3. I believe it's there. There. Yeah. There we go. Yep. This way the stairs will continue. And we are to 12, so go ahead and place that down. Okay, so the hammer, as you can see the outline of where it mines, it does a 3 by 3. Let me go out one more because the stairs will be right there. Let me go out a few more here. And so the 3 by 3, if you're looking at the floor, it also does the 3 by 3. And say you are looking at this right here. So if you were to mine this, it would only do 2 above. I believe it does 2 above. It should only do 2. Yeah, so where you look is the middle of the 3 by 3. So if there's only a block like this that you can hit, it'll only do that one and above. It won't do the bottom 3 as if it was here. So sometimes it's a little finicky, but and it also won't mind like how you're facing it. So if I wanted to mine this, but I only wanted to mine this column here, you could still stand in front of it and just hit it from the side. It will only mine the direction of the block that you hit, not how you're facing it. So just to keep that in mind when you are going about this. I'm gonna eventually clear this out all the way up so it's a 3 by 3 all the way down, so it's even and not 1 to 3. So now that you have a basic understanding of the hammer and how it mines 3 by 3, all that good stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and mine for a little bit, get some ores, and then we can continue on and upgrade the tools so I can show you what does what on the tools themselves. So I will be right back. All right, so I mined for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I just got a few more iron, just in case if I had to repair a tool. That was my main reason for going back down, was just to get a little bit more. I know I have some back in the smeltery, but I just wanted to get enough so I can make sure that I have enough for the actual tools itself. So, um, as you can see, it's basically broke there. I got 566 XP because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the not that one. Where was it? Here it is. Yeah, so you need 18,000 XP to level it up. So, if you look down at the bottom here, how it says modifier, so those are the additions that you can add to it. So if you add redstone, it increases the speed that you mine. If you add lapis, it increases the luck, so you can get fortune. The more you add, the more fortune you get. It tells you if you have fortune 1, 2, or 3. Redstone, it increases your mining speed and stuff like that. If you add a diamond, if it's not a mining level house is diamond. If you add a diamond, it increases it so you're able to mine what a diamond pickaxe would be able to. Because right now I can only mine what a iron pickaxe would be. So if I add the diamond, it's basically a diamond pickaxe, but it's not. Um, there's a couple other modifiers that you can add. If I grab out the book, there's a section in the book I will show you if you want to look more into it. If you just right click, hit here, modifiers right here. So every single one of these can't be added to the hammer itself. The height and width you can. Knockback, I don't believe you can because it's only to the sword or arrow. There's a lot of the modifiers. So if you have the book, just click on modifiers, and then you can go through one by one. I usually just go with a diamond. It gives you, like I said, it gives you 500 durability, and then it also gives you the mining level of the diamond. So then you can mine obsidian, things like that. So the book is called Materials in You, if you don't remember. So you can go ahead and look that up in your tooltips. And I think it's JEI. Let me throw that in there. I also I could also show you that real quick. So what I usually do is the XP is 18,000 just to level up so you can get another modifier. Me personally, I think it's a little outrageous. I mean, my durability is 582. So if we were to just do some quick math here, you're looking at what, 300? I would have to repair this 300 times, I believe. Not 300, but it's probably about 200, somewhere around there, or 100. I don't know the exact math, but you have to mine 18,000 blocks, and you can only mine 9 at a time. So that's 2,000 blocks that you like 2,000 distance just to level it up one time. I think it's a little ridiculous. Um, so I'm going to show you real quick in the configuration files if you want to. You don't have to. It's a little bit of a step to get into it, but um, I'll go ahead and show you how to do that real quick here. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up my desktop. It should be there we go. So I got my desktop here. If I go ahead and open up my servers here, and then my server there, and then if I go into the config folder, and then when you scroll all the way down, you'll see a file called Tinker Tool Leveling and CFG. It might not have that you can open it in Notepad, but if you just double click it, it'll say open with, and just choose Notepad or any type of um, Notepad variation that you might have. You might have Notepad plus plus, anything like that. So you want to open up Tinker Tool Leveling. Since I'm on a server, I will have to restart the server to take action of this. There's a couple of these that you can change. So these are the XP needed to do your first modifier. So right now, as I said, the hammer's at 18,000, and every time you reach the 18,000, that doubles. So to get the first modifier, you have to mine 18,000 blocks, and then to get to the next one, you have to mine 36,000, and then 72,000, and then so on and so forth. Me personally, it's a little outrageous. I don't care for it, and I think it's a little too much. So what I do is I change it for the tools that I use. So I use the hammer, I use the hatchet, I use the lumber axe, and then I also change for the excavator as well. And then whatever sword I'm going to be using, I also change it because for the sword you have to, I think it's kills. You have to kill 2,000 things. I don't even think I killed 2,000 things in Minecraft this year. I know it's only February, but besides the point. I think it's a little high. So I changed what it is. Does make it a little easier, but for the recording issue, the recording purpose, I don't want to sit here for 3 days and mine 72,000 blocks to get this modifier twice. So I go ahead and change it. I don't remember exactly what you can set it to because there is a minimum. I'm not 100% if it's a minimum or if it's just because I change it after I already start the world. If I go here into my old servers and just choose one of these ones, it should be changed so I know exactly what I had it at. Let me see. Tinker's tool leveling. Okay, so this one I did. So this is the one I'm going to be changing. This is the one I have here. So the hammer I had set to 100, which means I only need 100 blocks to then level up, and then 200, 400, 800, 1600. So you're able to add a lot more modifiers, so you can mine quicker, and you can add a lot more quicker in the game. So the excavator I believe is also 100. The cleaver is a sword that I like to use because it does a lot of damage and beheading. So I use it for the end or the nether a lot. Lumber axe is another one that I use 100. I don't really use the lumber axe, but it's there just in case. So you want to go ahead and save it. And then once you save it, you can close it. And then you can also close out of the config. So for you to find your config, I believe it would be wherever you installed Feed the Beast at. So let me go ahead and try to find it here. I don't know exactly where I have it stored. I want to say it's here. Nope. On G. No. E. I have stuff everywhere. Here it is here. So if you go to Feed the Beast Revelations, Minecraft, and then config, and then you scroll down, and here's your file here. So it's going to be whatever drive you saved it under. I saved it under Feed the Beast. I believe the way to find where you have it stored is within the, if you have this launcher. I'm not 100% if you do or not, but the install folder. So wherever this is here, that's the folder you want to navigate to. So in my case, it's the E drive and then the FTB folder, and that's exactly where we're at here. So once you get here, whatever mod pack you're using, you open that one up, and then open up Minecraft config, and then you want to scroll down until you see the Tinker's construct or Tinker tool leveling, and then this is the file here. Like I said, in my case, since I have a server, it's going to be within the server files, so I have to go to my server folder. But if not, just follow the directory of where you installed it, and then that's how you're able to do that. So if we go back into the game here, let me click off this and add that back, just so it's a little bit, so it only does the window here. So that's how you increase that. I'm gonna go ahead and restart the server, and as soon as the server comes back up, I will be right back. All right, and the server started back up here. We're just logging in. Okay, so since I changed my XP variation to 100, as you can see there, it does say I have 566, and I'm only supposed to have 100. But I believe as soon as I mine one block, it'll automatically level up here. Let me check just to make sure. Yep. There we go. So it leveled up twice because it went from 100 to 200. Because since I had 500, it did the 1 and 2. Now I have 275 XP left over, so it went to 400. So as you can see now, I have 3 modifiers. So I leveled it up twice due to XP, so now I have 2 more extra modifiers. So instead of 1, I have 3. So that's... Let me just fill this back in. Pink. So now I have the 3 modifiers. So that's how you go ahead and change your XP. As you can see, the excavator as well. It's only 100. So, like I said, it's a little bit of a cheat because you can make it, I think, lower if you really wanted to. You can make it whatever number you want, but I go with 100 because it's a good number. It gets you into the door a little quicker. Let me go ahead and now show you. So I have 3 modifiers. So if I put the hammer in here, like I said, you could shift click if you need to, or click and drag, whichever you prefer. So if I add redstone, as you can see, haste, it's a bonus speed. So I need 50 to take it up a level. So I could go ahead and do, if I wanted to, I could do this, and then I could just put that all in there. So I have 50 now. So that's 1 level of bonus speed. So now it's 20% faster than what it was. So if I wanted to, I could put another 49, but it takes up another modifier. I have 2 available. Now I have 1. So that's what that can do. The lapis, you need 60 to get fortune 1, and that also takes a modifier. So let me go ahead and run back in. I just don't want to die to a creeper or get stuff blown up. I don't know if I have mob griefing on or not. I usually turn it off in Feed the Beast just so I don't lose a very important machine or anything like that, but I'll keep it on here. Let me see if I have a little bit more redstone. I do not. Grab all of this. I'm gonna go ahead and just put all of the lapis that I have on it. I just grab iron out of here. There should be enough. Put that in as well. So there's 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3. Well, 3 blocks of iron. So then I can repair this hammer as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw the other 49 49 redstone on. So now it's a little bit quicker. Now it's 40%. It's 1 short of filling out that complete modifier. And then I'm also gonna throw in the lapis as well. So now I have luck as well. So if you hold shift, it shows you your stats. So the durability, I can only mine 7 more. The mining level is diamond, the mining speed, the attack damage, everything like that. When in main hand, the attack damage, attack speed. Oh, that was half finishing. I thought it was a creeper. Now, if you hold control, it gives you more stats. So since I have an iron tool rod, the durability is 60. It also has a magnetic effect because it's of iron. That's a little it's a little of effect for the iron tools. It does add magnetic. So if I do mine something, it does pull it to me a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And then so you can make the hammerhead out of a different material, and it could give you a different durability or a different mining level, speed, attack, so forth. So you can make each individual component a different material to get better modifiers, better mining level, better speed, stuff like that. And the one that I believe you really see it on is the binding on the excavators and stuff. I believe that's where you get your modifiers at. It might be the tool rod because it does say modifier 0.85. So it might be the tool rod, but there's a lot of plug and play with these because there's a lot of materials that you can also use. As you can see here, here's all the different hammerhead materials that you can have. So how many are there? About 25, something like that, maybe more. I didn't count. I'm just guessing. So there's a lot of mix and match that you can do. There's a lot of tutorials out there on YouTube to show you what's good, what's not. I like to start with iron, and then if I can find purple slime or night slime, if I can find that, that is very good. The durability is 2,312, already at diamond mining level. The mining speed's 2.3. With the iron that with the redstone that I added, mine's up to 7, but the durability is unbelievable. It's 2,000, so that's really good. The attack damage is also higher as well. Obviously, I'm not going to walk around with a hammer hitting things, but sometimes it happens. So that's what I usually go for, but finding a night slime's kind of difficult. So here's how you repair your tools as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and mine a little bit more with this just to show you that you know it's broke. It makes a loud noise when it breaks as well. So No, it doesn't. They must have removed that. I apologize for the false information. Let me go into here, just do that, and you can go there too. Okay, so as you can see down there in the little picture, it is broke, and it does say broken. And it doesn't disappear. So all you have to do is just go over to your tool forge. There is another way to repair as well. Go to the tool forge, shift click this in, and then just put one iron in there. As you can see, it takes it up to 434 durability out of 582. You can just add another one. Boom, back to full durability. So it cost me 2 iron ingots to repair my hammer. That only has 582 durability. I believe the iron pick has higher durability. No, it's only a 250. So it's actually double the durability, and it only uses 2 ingots instead of 3. And you can add modifiers, so you can get fortune quicker. You can. To me, it's a great tool to start with, and that's usually what I start with in these mod packs here. Uh, so I think we covered enough for the tinkers for now. Definitely gonna go have. I'm definitely gonna be mining a lot. I want to show you the other way that you can repair your tools on the go. It's a sharpening stone, I believe. Yes. So they're called sharpening kits. So I have all of my materials out of iron. So it says here to upgrade your tool to the materials mining level. So if I wanted to make it a diamond one, I don't know if they have diamond, but you can use these materials to make your tool mine that level. So if I had I don't know, let's just go with something here. A night slime sharpening kit. It would come if I combine with a flint, it upgrades your tool to the materials mining level. So to get the sharpening kit, you have to make a cast. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You have to. Um, so what is the base one that you can make? Stone, most likely. Okay, so I had a complete brain fart there. I don't know why I didn't try it the first time, but um, it's the same thing as all the other stuff. I overthought that way, 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 way too much. So let me go out here, grab one pattern using the scroll wheel. Go ahead and do this, and then that should make a sharpening kit. And then go ahead and put it in your part builder to get a stone sharpening kit. Put the pattern over there. Let me click on the aluminum brass because I want to put that at the bottom. And then let me go ahead and put a stone sharpening kit. Okay. So now if I use the iron and put an iron one in there. So you could also just technically take the tool forge with you when you mine. And then you can repair your tool that way. I mean that's probably the easiest way to do it without having to craft something else. But let me go ahead down here. Let me mine a little bit here. Let me just mine on the block that I did before. So if I mine that, and then if I use this up here, and then the sharpening. Okay, so the sharpening kit it does the exact same thing. So you could either make 15 of these and go mining, or you can take the tool forge with you. I guess either way, it still does it serves the purpose of it. So it's really up to you on whichever one you prefer. I never usually make the sharpening kits. I usually just take the tool forge with me, but I wanted to include it just in case if you were wondering if there's another way to do it as well. Um, so that's basically the gist of Tinker's Construct. That I use it for personally. There is a little bit of later game where you can use a smeltery to farm emeralds from villagers and things like that. You can also get into a bunch of other modifiers and messing around with the different component materials for tools and weapons, as well as the arrows. Because with the arrows, there's also I think there's 2 part components that you can switch out the material for, and it can also change the damage, the draw speed, and everything like that for your bow. So there is a lot more to Tinkers, but that's basically the gist of how much I use Tinkers. Usually, just like I said, I get the hammer, the excavator, maybe a pick, shovel, just in case if I get into that situation where I only need to mine 1 block and I don't want to mine 8. And then other than that, that's basically uh, ore doubling and the tools. That's sort of what I use Tinkers for. There's a few other things within Tinkers, but I don't really go into it. So I think we're gonna head and call it there. And in the next episode, we'll probably go into some probably using some of the other chests, because there is a chest mod. I believe it's iron chest. There's also some barrels that you can create where you can store up to, I think, 64 stacks of one item in particular. So we'll go ahead into that in the next episode, as well as maybe start getting into some machines so we can get rid of these basic furnaces. So I'm going to go ahead and end the episode there, and I will catch you in the next one so we can continue our journey.